Hi folks, the RC old guy here. So I haven't posted in a while to my subscribers. So I have my DJI F-550 hex here. Um, I've changed a few things around with it since the last time I posted. I now have the landing gear here is carbon fiber struts from a helicopter that I ordered online. They're about 10 bucks a piece. They're expensive. There's six. I previously had them attached to the outriggers here, and I actually had a hula hoop that I attached to it, um, which looked pretty cool, and in effect it was going to keep things from snagging up when it rotated or anything on takeoffs and landings. Um, that didn't work out quite right. What basically happened was it wound up tweaking the legs in one direction. So when I flew, it was rotating clockwise, and it wouldn't go away. So I was changing gains and messing around with the radio and whatnot, and that didn't quite solve the problem. So just future reference, I mean, this is a unique landing system. I don't see anybody online running this. Usually they run the outrigger kind of systems, or PVC pipes or whatever. My idea, it's in theory it was a good idea, but it just tweaked the arms just enough so it rotated. But now that that's been remedied, it flies perfectly. One of the projects I've worked on this weekend actually was a creation I have here. I have this CCD camera. This is a quarter CMOS 190-degree lens professional CCD cam. This is for something like you would use for surveillance in a store or whatever. It's not one of the 1/3 CMOS micro cams. This particular camera is a really good high resolution. I have a suitcase video system that I've created with a 7-inch LCD. This system I have here works with a 1.2 gigahertz transmitter. The 2.4s have way too much interference on it. It's too soft for long distance. 5.8s are really expensive. 6.2s will probably be out this year or next year at some point if they're not out already. So the 1.2 is a lower frequency, but it's less used. And it works pretty well. It's got a really good distance out of it, and I think that's like, I don't know, half a milliwatt or something. It's not that much, but it's a digital receiver system. At any rate, I had this camera originally mounted back here underneath fixed position, and what I've done is I've created a servo-driven gimbal for it. So as you can see now, I can pan up and down, and it's all servo-driven. And this is run off of one of the spare channels on the receiver. I'm running a DX8 on this with the naza flight controller system, the naza GPS system. So this is what I have. I use the Super Lock Velcro, which is this hard plastic stuff. It's really, really tough. It will hold like you wouldn't believe. It's wonderful. So this is the system I created. It's very simple. Didn't cost me a thing. I already had, this is a Futaba 303, 303 servo, which I've had in my box for quite a while. Brand new. Just threw the wheel on here, came up with a servo arm, did a Z-bend on it, another wiper arm here, and this framework here came with the camera. I've simply taken some solder and closed it off because it used to be a slat like that, and I've closed it off just to make a hole. A couple of little screws I had laying around. This is some Lexan plastic sheet. That's 1/8 inch, and I doubled up here so I could run some screws in it to mount the mount. It's very simple. So you want to make sure you don't run your screws into the camera. It will damage the PC board inside if you're not careful. This is a good camera. It's got OSD settings and stuff on it that you can play around with if needed. But basically, I mean, for next to nothing for materials, you're paying for a servo, a little piece of plexi, and the camera. The camera's a really good camera, but what I like about it now is now I can do that. And this is driven off of one of the auxiliary switches on my radio. And I have other accessories that I hook up to it. I have like a parachute drop guy, like a bomb drop. I have a airsoft setup that goes on it that can fire airsoft BBs at when I flick a switch. It's actually kind of cool, but I don't want to put that on video because people get upset about that stuff. Um, but this is the system. Very cool. So I use this locking Velcro, and basically it snaps in. I mean, that you don't get any easier than that. I mean, that thing's guaranteed to stay on there. It's really hard. I mean, if you're crashing that hard anyway, you're gonna bust everything. So the camera falls off, yeah, but you've already snapped a few $100s worth of things at that point before you have to worry about that thing popping off. But that's how it looks. It gives it a nice kind of a forward down view, so it's not directly down. I didn't want a direct down view, and it gives a nice straightforward view. And it's adjustable. You can adjust the arm. I have it set with set screws. So that's my new creation for the year. Hope you're digging it. I'll see if I can do some more videos. It's still pretty cold and windy and rainy and snowy here. So eventually spring and summer is going to come. This is also something I worked on too. This is the camera mount. I run my movie cam, which is the one I'm filming with now, but it mounts on the top. It's almost like a GoPro. I think it's actually better. It's got a viewfinder. You can see what's going on. You can focus and zoom in and out. So it's kind of probably grainy looking here because I don't have any backlight. I just have some regular house lights. So, but mounts up here. What I've done is I've taken the foam rubber from one of these little softballs that TD Bank gives away. Cut it out because it's a nice closed cell foam. It's kind of springy. Mounted it. This stand is a regular CCD cam stand. It's articulates, so you can move it any way you want, up, down, back, forth. You can do forward, back video, whichever you like. But the way it's mounted, it's on these 3 long screws run through grommets on the inside, so there's no metal touching it. It's just a straight shot through with this grommet on the top, and then there's also an inner grommet. So basically this will allow it to flex like that, and it takes the shake right out of the camera. It wasn't bad before, but I've tried other ideas and they're not as successful as this. It really does have a nice shot. The only issue you have is when you're flying. Of course, if you're flying in quickly and then you stop, it's going to go back a little bit like that. So you're getting that rocking motion. It will follow motion with the aircraft. That's not something I really like. But I'm not ready to dump $200 or something into a full-blown servo-driven gimbal system. Blah blah blah. I don't need it. But this ought to be pretty cool. I'm going to try some FPV flights this spring and summer and see how this works with the suitcase system. It's a different experience flying while you got eyes on versus flying looking at a video screen. But hopefully, when I'm going to land, now I can pan it down. I can see what my distance is. Get a little perspective as far as altitude. And then you got your forward view. And I would run the video camera up here as well. And I have another camera that I actually run off the back side of it. So I'm running about 3 cameras at once. So, but that is my almost no-cost solution to my video issue. So, thanks for watching.